What's going on, everybody? It's Yap MMA. I'm back with another video. Today, I'm going to be predicting every single title matchup in 2025. Everything that I think that's going to go down, every single fight that I think is going to be created in 2025. Let's just get right into it. Let's get right into it, boys. Starting it off, we're going to be going from the smallest division, obviously, to the highest division. So we're starting off with flyweight. We got Alessandro Pantoja, man. Look, Pantoja's cleared out most of the division. He's cleared out most of the division. He's done a huge deal of damage in flyweight. I think he's close to deserving that chance to move up to bantamweight. I bet you he could move up to bantamweight right now. I don't think anybody would question him. But there is one matchup in the division that I don't think many people are thinking of. Uh, but I think it's something that needs to happen. I think it's maybe one of the only matchups that could be dangerous for Pantoja, and that's Muhammad Makayev, man. That is Muhammad Makayev. He got booted out of the UFC by Dana White for his last fight with Manel Kape. It was the most boring fight. I think it was the most boring flyweight fight I've ever witnessed in my entire life. But Makayev won by unanimous decision. Still got kicked out of the UFC. I think if they bring him back, I think he deserves a title shot against Pantoja. Pantoja's been champ for a minute. Makayev is undefeated. He's undefeated in the UFC at least. He's just fought in another, I forget who he fought for. He fought for a different company. Just coming off of a win, rear naked choke in round 1 or round 2. He's great on the ground. His wrestling's amazing. His striking's okay. He's a pretty boring striker, but he can definitely match levels with Pantoja on the ground, and that's where Pantoja's been dominant. He just submitted Kai Asakura not that long ago. He submitted guys like Brandon Royval. He's beat Brandon Royval twice, beat Brandon Moreno. I think he beat Brandon Moreno twice. The only other guy that you can really look at is Kai Kara France, and I think Kai Kara France is a great he's a great opponent for Pantoja, but I still think Pantoja wins that matchup, and I don't think that's a tough test for Pantoja. I think the UFC could bring back Muhammad Makayev, and they could put him up against Pantoja. I could see that matchup in 2025, maybe late 2025, but I think they should bring back Makayev. As much as I don't really think Makayev is that entertaining of a fighter, I do think he is a good fighter. And I think he would be the toughest test for Pantoja, which would just be interesting to see how that would play out. So I'm matching these two up for 2025. But we'll move on to the bantamweight division. Here I've got Merab and I have Umar because they are fighting soon. So it'll be one of them against the next person that I put up. I do think Umar will take the belt from Merab, but I can't doubt Merab, man. He's been through a lot, and he's on an 11 fight win streak, I believe. Yeah, 11 fight win streak. So, you know, Merab's a tank, man. He could get it done for sure. So we'll see how that plays out. But I got both these guys here. And I think the only reasonable matchup at bantamweight right now for whoever becomes champion in the next month is Piotr Jan. I think Piotr Jan deserves it, man. He's coming off back-to-back wins. Pretty good win against Davison Figueiredo. Outclassed him on the feet. Was able to stuff the takedowns and get some trips of his own. He did an amazing job beating down Figueiredo for 5 rounds. Very clear win for him. He's coming off that win from against Song Yadong as well, which is a very clear win for him. Great back-to-back wins for Piotr Jan. He struggled for a couple of years. A couple robberies. Um, well, we won't call them robberies. I would say the one against Sean O'Malley was very, very questionable. But both were pretty bad losses. I think he lost to he lost to Merab really bad, and then he lost to Sean O'Malley. Lost to Sean O'Malley before, but it was a very close fight. I think he won that fight. A lot of people think he could have won that fight, but that was a close fight. Nonetheless, I think it would be much more entertaining to see Piotr Jan versus Umar, since we already saw Merab versus Piotr Jan, and we saw how that played out. I do think either way, Piotr would lose to Merab and Umar, but I think it would be a super fun matchup. He definitely deserves that after the back-to-back wins, very, very clear wins for him, and he seems like the only guy that's really a potential threat for the champions. But at the end of the day, Merab's got amazing wrestling, Umar's got amazing wrestling, and I just don't know if Piotr Jan would be able to stand or be able to hang with them on the ground. So it'd be interesting to see, but I think this is the best matchup for sure. But we'll see what happens between Merab and Umar soon. We'll move on though to featherweight. We got Ilya Taporia, of course. He's teased going up to lightweight. I made a video not too long ago of why I believe he's not going to move up to lightweight. He said he was teasing it, but he's not going to move up, at least not this year. So I think the best matchup for Ilya Taporia. There's a couple options. A couple clear options, but I think the best matchup stylistically and like if we're trying to get a very competitive matchup, it's got to be Movsar Evloev, man. A lot of people hate Movsar. I understand. I get it. He doesn't have any finishes in the UFC. He's 19-0, never been beaten. Same thing. He's undefeated like Taporia. This would be undefeated versus undefeated for the belt. It would be great promotion. They could do it in Spain. I think it would be a sick fight. As much as people despise Movsar, he's a great, great wrestler. He is entertaining. I would say he's entertaining. The fight with him and Sterling was very competitive. A lot of back and forth. He's had a couple very close decisions, which is why a lot of people also don't like him because he has gotten lucky. A lot of people say, "Oh, Dagestani privilege." It is true. It depends, what you're looking at. He had a very close fight with Diego Lopez the first time. Had a very close fight with Arnold Allen, but he is at the end of the day, he's still undefeated. Had a very good win against a former champion in Aljamain Sterling, and you kind of got to give him the shot. Like I know Diego Lopez is on the rise as well. You could do Diego Lopez, but I think it would be much more nice to see Diego Lopez and Alexander Volkanovski on a main card and then have Movsar Evloev fight the champion in Ilya Taporia and give Taporia that test because I think Taporia beats Diego Lopez. I don't think that fight will be as close as this one here because Diego Lopez is great on the feet, but on the ground, I think Ilya is better, and I think Ilya is a way better boxer than Diego Lopez, excuse me. But Movsar Evloev is very well rounded. He's good on the feet. He's very, very good on the ground. And if he can implicate his wrestling on Taporia and be able to hold him down, I don't know. We'll have to see how Taporia plays that out because we haven't really seen Taporia get offensively grappled before. That's why this matchup is very entertaining. It'd be interesting to see how it goes. So I think this would be the best matchup at featherweight. And if Ilya beats Movsar in a clear win, if he knocks out Movsar Evloev, just give this guy just move this guy up to lightweight. Give him Islam, man, seriously. But I think this is the best matchup for now. So we'll move on to lightweight. At lightweight, we've got Islam versus Arman very soon in the next month. That's gonna be an interesting fight. I think it'll be pretty close. I think it might go the distance. Uh, but I think Islam will take it. I think Islam will take it. Um, Maybe 49, 48. Decent win for Islam. Um, it's going to be a close fight, though. I do think Arman is a very, very great wrestler. He definitely imposes a lot of threats for Islam, but I just think Islam's a better worker. He works harder, is what I mean. But nonetheless, I think the best fight for these two, whoever wins the belt, whoever keeps or takes the belt, is Charles Oliveira. It's a little bit biased, but when I'm looking at the lightweight division, when I'm scanning the lightweight division, I don't see any other threats right now in the division. I don't see anybody in the rankings that is like, wow, that could beat the champion. Like they need to move up some levels. You know what I mean? I think Charles, he's nearing the end of his career. This is the last time he's going to be at that level. He just beat Michael Chandler, very clear decision for him. He had a very close fight with Arman, and before that he beat Dariush, and before that he lost to Islam. So he's been a little bit up and down recently, but Charles nonetheless is, he's an imposing threat. Do I think he beats Arman or Islam? I'm a diehard Charles fan, but I'm not 100% sure if he can beat either of these guys. But that's why it'd be interesting to see because obviously he got finished by Islam, but the fight with Arman was very close. A rematch between them would be really interesting to see how that would go, especially it being a 5-rounder because the 3 rounds wasn't enough. Honestly, it was not enough. It would have been nice to see 5 rounds between these guys, but Islam beat Charles fair and square, but that was a few years ago. So, if they run it back, it would definitely be interesting. Islam's talked about it. He's brought it up. He knows that the fans love Charles Oliveira. Everybody loves Charles Oliveira, and it'd be nice to give him one more shot. And if he loses, he'll probably not get another shot at the title. So one last chance. I think it's deserved. But this is the only matchup I really see in lightweight as a title challenger. And if Islam or Arman beat Charles, I think if Islam for sure stays champ and beats Charles, he definitely deserves to either move up or move down. I don't think he can move down. He's too big of a 155er. I think he deserves to move up to welterweight, but we'll see how that goes. We'll move on to welterweight right now with Bilal. Remember the name Muhammad. I think Bilal could stay champ for a minute, man. Remember the name, man. Remember the name. Nonetheless, the matchup is quite obvious. Shavkat Rakhmonov, book it. Just book it. Let's see how it plays out. I think Bilal beats him. I think Bilal beats him after that fight between Ian Gary and Shavkat. I think Shavkat's a better striker than Bilal, but Bilal, man, his wrestling is high level, and Shavkat could barely wrestle with Ian Gary. He could barely wrestle with Ian Gary, and got his back taken and almost got submitted by Ian Gary. All right, I don't think you can't give up those positions against Bilal. Bilal will flip you on your head like Leon Edwards. So this is going to be a very interesting fight. It was supposed to be booked. When Shavkat fought Ian Gary, he was supposed to fight Bilal. That would have been fun to see, but we got to see a little bit more about Bilal. We got to see not Bilal, sorry. We got to see a little bit more about Shavkat. See how he goes in a 5-rounder against Ian Gary. He went the full 5 rounds. He doesn't finish every single fight. So of course he could finish Bilal. Don't get me wrong, Bilal's been finished before, but Bilal's tough, man. He's very tough now. He's been on a huge win streak, and I think he's just a better wrestler at the end of the day. And wrestling is the base of MMA. I've broken it down before. It's the best base for MMA, and Bilal is king at wrestling. So it'll be really interesting to see. But this has got to be the matchup to make for the title, in 2025 for sure. Moving on to middleweight, we got Dricus du Plessis and Sean Strickland fighting soon in what's it called? In Australia. In Australia, fighting soon. Pretty lame. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Pretty lame. I don't think anybody wants to see this fight. A lot of people have been shitting on this fight. I don't want to see this fight. Nobody wants to see this fight. Sean Strickland doesn't deserve it. I'm sorry, you don't deserve it after beating fucking what's his name? Shit, I don't even know his name, man, because he's so low in the rankings right now. You beat Jungle Juice, man. You don't deserve the title shot. Sean Strickland does not deserve the title shot after a split win over Paulo Costa. He's just, this is what are we doing, UFC, man? The clear matchup is Khamzat Chimaev. In 2025, it's obvious. Khamzat deserves the title shot. Destroyed Robert Whittaker. He's never been submitted like that before. Never been dominated like that before. DDP didn't do that to Whittaker. Freaking Izzy didn't do that to Whittaker even that fast. And he's never. I don't think Whittaker's ever been subbed. I think that was the first time he'd ever been subbed, or at least first time being subbed in a long time. So yeah, man, dominant performance over Whittaker from Khamzat. So he used the clear title shot, like clearly deserving of the title shot. Excuse me. And obviously we got the Sean Strickland DDP matchup, but I think DDP beats Sean, and DDP versus Khamzat 2025. That would be a sick matchup. Middleweight's pretty interesting at the moment. Lots of fun fights. Dricus is a great champion. He's a great champion, man. But Khamzat, he's dangerous. He's dangerous. And it'd be really interesting to see if DDP could last on the ground with Khamzat. It'd be really interesting to see. I think that is the next matchup to make for sure. And let's just get Sean Strickland out of the picture, man. I'm sorry. I don't want to be watching teeps and jabs an entire fight. You're not going to survive. If Sean beats DDP, he's dead. Khamzat will kill Sean Strickland in a matter of minutes. So I'd much rather see DDP versus Khamzat, but we'll see how it plays out. We'll move on, though, to light heavyweight. I've been yapping too much. Alex Pereira, light heavyweight champ. The obvious matchup that it just needs to be made is Big Ink. It's Big Ink Live. All right. I'm sorry. I don't like Big Ink. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't like Big Ink. He's not the most entertaining fighter, but he deserves it, man. He deserves it. You have to go based on deserving it. And he has, I don't even know how many fights it is in a row, but he's basically undefeated. Besides losing to Paul Craig, which was jokes. He's beat everybody. He's beat everybody he's had to beat. He's beat a bunch of top 10, top 5 rankings. It would be nice to see him fight somebody like Yuri or something like that. But Yuri's booked with Hill soon, so it's got to be Pereira versus Big Ank. I know Pereira's posted on his Twitter or Instagram, and he's like, "Oh, it's not going to be Ank alive," but he's got to be joking. He's got to be joking. I don't think they're going to let Pereira run from Ank for so long. I don't think he is running. He just doesn't want to fight him, just because he's boring, and Ankalaev doesn't sell like that, man. Unless they bring him to Abu Dhabi, he doesn't sell like that. So we'll see what happens with this one, but this has to be made. This matchup has to be made. It's the only one to be made for the title in 2025. Alex should not be moving up to heavyweight. He should not be fighting Hamza. I've been seeing rumors of that. I mean, that would be an interesting fight, but Pereira's getting subbed in minutes. I'm sorry, but it's just how it's going to go. This is like a reasonable matchup here where Pereira can keep it on the feet and probably knock out Magomed Ankalaev. I see it happening for sure. I see it happening. So this is the best matchup to be made at light heavyweight for the championship. This is the best belt fight probably at 2025. It'd be fun. It'd be pretty fun. Alex Pereira, fighter of 2024, and we'll see if he can keep that up in 2025. But we'll move on to the final. Last but not least, heavyweight. Belt versus belt. Tommy freaking Aspinall. Tom Aspinall versus John Jones. What are we doing? What are we doing? This is the obvious fucking matchup. The last two have been obvious. Light heavyweight and heavyweight are obvious matchups. Heavyweight is cooked, man. Heavyweight is a fucking cooked division right now. All right? We got some absolute blobs in the rankings, okay? We just need to see Tom Aspinall as the face of heavyweight. We need to see him as a champ. Please, please, Dana White, please, bro. Please, Dana, bro. He promised. Dana promised, man. Dana promised the entirety of the UFC community that we're going to see this fight in 2025. I believe it. I don't care if he has to haul out the Saudi money and give John Jones 50 million. I don't care, bro. Just get this fight done, man. Get it booked, get it signed. No pulling out. Let's just get this fight on the fucking road. Okay, let's get this fight on the road. Everybody wants to see it. Dana's teasing. He's like, this is going to be the biggest heavyweight fight of all time. I believe it. I think everybody's going to believe it when we see this fight happen, man. When both these men are in the octagon facing each other, it's going to be an amazing fight. Best fight of the year. If it's booked, best fight of the year. The greatest fighter of all time, GOAT of all time versus could be arguably one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. If Tom Aspinall beats John Jones, which I do believe he does, I think a lot of people believe Tom Aspinall beats John Jones. He could be one of the best heavyweights of all time, man. One of the best heavyweights of all time. I think he will be. It's going to be a really good fight. We got to see this. We need to book this. Dana, we got to book this right the fuck now. We need to book this. Book it for March, April, May. Around there, that'd be nice. Come on. Get it done. But that's the whole video, boys. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Really help me out. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you.